Hello, and this is the IT Chronicles 10 and Tech. My name is Kathleen Wilson. I'm joined with Carlos Casanova.
Hey, Kathleen.
And we have here today Karthik Pasupathy from Freshworks, and he's actually a product marketer in Freshservice, though. And we had a little chat this morning before we got up here to do the interview, and he works in service desk automation, an area where I'm pretty passionate about.
Yeah, it's a big area that growing. I mean,
Yeah.
growing out of.
So he's giving a talk about it this afternoon. So hopefully, could you give us a little bit of a sneak peek about what you're going to talk about? We won't ruin the session.
There's like 3 million people lined up for your session, but there's no pressure.
Yeah.
All right. I've been part of Freshservice for the past 2 years, and during my course of time, I've closely worked with teams that has built and shipped a lot of automation features. So when I was working closely with the teams, I had a chance to speak with a lot of customers and understood how they implement automation processes. And I had a lot of learnings during this time, and whatever I learned, I tried to put it in the form of a framework, which is nothing but a set of best practices that will help organizations implement automation processes in a more efficient way or a better way.
Right. So one of the things I think that we see in the industry, people like, here's a great idea, let's do it everywhere. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So let's just automate everything. It's like, and that's obviously not, for any of us that have been around for a while, we know that that's not necessarily the case. So
exactly.
Give us a few pointers on, what are those main areas, especially at the first stages. Even, 2 years, 5 years from now, it's going to grow. But what are the main areas that you're targeting or that you are recommending targeting with automation?
Okay. So one of the areas that we could more efficiently automate, like free up agents' time, is automating service requests. Right, a lot of service requests that you receive in a month. Say, for example, asking to grant CRM access. So that is you receive say 50 to 100 requests a month, and agents will have to manually do it. Right. So if I can use the CRM's API, and if I can use a webhook, and if I can automate the process, as soon as somebody requests, it automatically grants access to the CRM. Right. So you're freeing up time that is spent for 100 service requests. Like, that is like huge. So that is one area. And another area is IT can go beyond and be proactive, and they can help departments like HR or finance. Like a finance receiving like 100 tickets a month or 200 tickets a month about account payable. You can find a way to automate the process. Like that would give time for them to like work on more efficient things, like more cool things, right? So.
Yeah, and I think that's the one thing that I know, even on the config side or just automation in general. What I think we lose track on is if there's 100, and then people are like, well, you can't get rid of them all. It's like, well, we're not trying to get rid of them all, but if we can reduce it by 50%, by 75%. That frees up the time for people to go and do the stuff that we know, and whoever's been in there, they're not getting done. There are a lot of tasks, a lot of activities that I just don't have time to go and do this or that. If you can free them up from the mundane, then they can go work on the more, the ones that need the human interaction.
They can take a break for 10 minutes or they can have a coffee. But the first thing that comes to people's mind when they say automation is Terminator.
Exactly.
Terminator.
People think that it's going to take over the world, but it's not that. Automation is all about freeing up people's time by taking over like small tasks, like small repetitive tasks, right? So I think that should be welcomed, right?
Right, and it elevates the level of work, right? Why do you want to be there just checking off boxes? Oh, Kathleen sent in, check, check, check. Well, why would I want to do that? Let me go to the areas that Kathleen sent something in. I need to actually look at it and really actually use my brain.
Analysis.
Yeah, do an analysis.
Some analysis, but yeah, you're right. But service requests, it's great because you can start killing your SLAs with that, right? Yes. So because you're constantly meeting your SLAs, you reduce errors, right? Because how many times have you asked
actually
when you get access to a system, it's like, you didn't set me up right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and that happens, and so. The fact is you can quickly get people who can get access to systems. You automate it. You're killing your SLAs. Customer satisfaction goes through the roof.
I'll say, God forbid, like people are happy now. Like they asked for something and they got what they asked for.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, what a novel idea.
So, and again, you were talking a little bit about this framework, and could you give us a little sneak peek about that framework that you came up with, the automation, to kind of help guide us through what, not automation everywhere.
Okay, that is one. And another important thing that I'm going to talk about is communication. So whenever you're automating something, you are altering a behavior that was existing the day before, right? An agent is used to doing something manually, and the next day, if it's completely automated, he'll be like, what's going on?
What's going on, right?
Right. So communication plays a key role here. So you should communicate the right stakeholders, and if it's a huge process, then you should look for right ways to educate them about what is going to be the behavior change and what they can expect out of it and how it is going to benefit them.
Right.
So that's...
Yeah, because I would think there's a lot of fear there, right?
I wouldn't be afraid, but yeah, people do get, oh, I'm not going to create any more
Right, I'm not going to do this. What am I going to do? Like you were saying, like, you know, are they doing this for, you know, headcount reduction? You know, so if you don't communicate, that's what they're naturally going to.
And it also lies in user experience, like how you design the process in such a way that they would be able to, they don't feel distant with the process, right? They feel close. They should think that automation is friendly, right? So that should be the case. And you should slowly ease them in. You can do a phased rollout. You can introduce it to one team and get their feedbacks, and maybe introduce it to like company-wide.
Right, right.
So,
exactly, and then as you said, you have to train the user experience. You can't just roll it out, throw it on a portal, and it's like people are going to figure it out.
Yeah, the build it and they will come concept just doesn't really work.
No, that's when you have to look at
That'll
you're talking about organizational change management there, right? And that's the whole thing is like people are behind this. Automation, there's still people behind it and everything. And then you were on a panel yesterday.
yes.
And could you just give us a little sneak preview of what some of the pressing questions that you got on the panel? Sorry, I didn't make it.
Okay, it was more of a discussion titled AI is Here. So we met with a lot of CEOs and VPs, and we talked about how we can make automation or AI more consumable and package it in a better way, and how we can make it feel less distant with the users. So that was the whole idea. And as I spoke to a lot of them, everybody is working on some form of an automation. I spoke to one of the CEOs, and he said that I want to free up 25% of my agents' time by 2020. So that is a kind of ambition that they have with respect to automation. And even a study by SDI says that 75% of people or organizations want to implement some form of automation within the next 12 months. So that is a stats that we're looking at.
Yeah, and that's the thing, he's right. I mean, there's obviously different ways to look at it, right? If you create that bandwidth capability now, and the company's looking to grow, it's not a termination thing. It's like we can now grow with the same people we have, giving them better work to do, which is more like, you know, we value your intelligence and your analysis capabilities, so we want to leverage that. We don't want you sitting there just like checking off boxes. So we can actually grow as a company, take in more work, reduce call volumes, we can do all that with the people we have.
And it'll give them time to like spend on other things. For example, if I have 15 minutes of free time or 20 minutes of free time, I can take a power nap, or I can read 10 to 20
power napping on the job.
No, not on the job.
We may need to go do some interviews if you're freeing up a lot of time.
So then, or you can read 10 to 20 pages a day. But
there's other things too. It's like the other stable takes processes, right? Like there's other things like problem management, change management.
But it's just, you know, if you ran into an issue and you're like, you know, I'm not really as efficient in this area, now you've got 15 minutes, let me go back and read some of the knowledge articles, get more up to speed on that sort. You know, so again, it's a personal growth thing. It can actually be part of that.
Well, exactly. Well, thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much,
I know we dragged you out of breakfast, and you know, and you came first thing this morning for this interview. We really appreciate it. And good luck in your talk later
Thank you
today.
so much.
We won't be able to see it, but hopefully these are all recorded live somewhere.
Okay.
And thanks, Carlos.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos. Thanks, Kathy.